Hello, this is Mahmudul Hassan, student from Segi University, Kota Damansara. I'm a student from BBM, majoring in MM, and this is the subject name market management market accounting, lecturing by Miss Salwa Binti Ahmad, and this is the presentation uh, for this subject of management accounting. So here is my name, my student ID, and my details as well. So the whole presentation is about the budgetary process of the organization and how the organization can manage themselves to have their proper budgetary system in this COVID-19, and how the companies can improve um, in their financial activities. So the whole presentation is about that. So without delaying any further, let's get started from here. So the first thing is the budgetary process of organization. In the budgetary process of organization, the first one, a company needs to have the communication with the responsible people, as it is very very important to interact with the responsible people, because um, the management have to understand what actually the requirements inside of the organization. So they can also discuss on the budgetary process, then how they can implement all their works for their manufacturing and their management, as well as they have to look forward to their mainstream business, that what they are looking forward to, what business they are actually doing for the public. At the same time, they need to get the feedback from the workers or employees inside of the management process, or the inside of the office, business organization office, as because it is very important to get feedback whether they should put their whole budgetary system in order to implement the proper financing management in the whole organization. So the first one is the very important one, is the communication with the responsible people, how to make the budget plan for the whole fiscal year by this organization, for example Apple, Microsoft, Google, etc., etc. Second one is the identifying the key aspects of the production. A business has to identify what is their key aspects of their production or their services. For example, if any bank, um, they are doing the service business obviously, so they have to identify what are the key factors of their organization, why the consumers come to them, and what things they can provide to the consumers in terms of their products or services. So they have to focus on the main production or services, what they are providing, none other than the other things. They have to think only about the main production or services. For bank, they have to provide the loan system, savings account, and at the same time the money payment system, etc., etc. At the same time, any manufacturing companies such as any cold drink or beverage company, they have to only think about how to produce the beverages and supply to the distributor, so they can provide to the consumer directly. So only thinking about the main production and the main manufacturing elements. And the last one is the evaluating the production capabilities, obviously, because in the budgetary process they have to identify their capabilities, what capabilities they are having during any kind of critical or unconditional situation. So they have to evaluate them, and they have to go as per plan to make their budgetary process more smooth and very successful. For the second one, the question asks for the zero-based budgeting approaches in the COVID-19 pandemic, how a company can approach zero-based budgeting and how they can benefit from it. The first one is spending with a strategic goal. The zero-based budgeting, it is known as one of the most conscious and very cleverest approach by organization, based on the article Broughton's article, It is recognized as one of the most effective approach so far, based in the companies which are in the location named California. So all other shops and retail industries, fashion industries, and other business industries, they're actually having a problem with the COVID pandemic. So the approaches they have taken, the first one is called spending with a strategic goal, as because it is very important what a business are having their vision and goal and objective statement in their mind, so they have to fulfill that um, achieve they have to fulfill that achievement, or they have to fulfill that goal what they are adopting for the long term. So they have to spend only for their mainstream production and no necessary spending on the other non productivity things, such as the extracurricular things or CSR, or even the over marketing procedure. The second one is the increase the cost efficiency. Obviously, anyone who wants to produce any product or providing any service to the consumer, they have to think about the cost efficiency, how they can reduce the cost. So they have to focus on the basic costs, as well as they have to thinking about the raw materials in terms of producing new materials or new products or services, as because when they are actually purchasing raw materials or any kind of things from the suppliers in the cheap price, so they can also provide them or sell them to the consumer at a cheap price or affordable price, so they can actually survive in the market during the pandemic. Third one is it also can change, bringing the long term changes, as because when people are having a new strategy, they can getting used to with the strategy. As long as they, when they are having the benefit from the strategy, they want to keep the strategy going on for the long term. So in this period, according to the Broughton's article, they are having the long term changes through the zero based budgeting. When the pandemic gone over, they can also getting the profit from the zero based budgeting, as they will be having large margin profit from there, as well as if there is a cost reduction, so they can also manufacture more products, or they can provide more services to the consumers. It also helpful for the organization to evaluating the budget, as because most of the organization never think about the budget process. They never think about what they will do when the capabilities are higher or the lower, or they don't have enough budget, enough money to produce at their expected ones. So the zero based budgeting always keep them awakened to thinking about the budget process and everything. And the last one is the return on the investment. This kind of budgeting system always be helpful for the organization, as it always help them to think about the budgetary system, to think about more getting active on the production line, on the service line, as well as um, providing them a good and mature clear mindset to selling the product or service to the consumer. So that can always help them to get them the profit from what they are selling to the consumers, even during in the pandemic situation. Like many companies, even in the COVID-19, such as any telecom company, medicine company, or internet companies, etc., etc., these companies are actually, they have had very strategic mindset and budgetary system and policy, so that they actually earned a lot of money, a great return from their investment even during in the pandemic. So it is very very important to implement the zero based budgeting approach in any kind of critical situation, such as COVID-19 pandemic, like the one Broughton's article we have seen. For the third one, how the company's performance can be boosted up or improved. So the first one is the planning. Based on the planning, an organization has to determine the customers' needs, wants, and demands. There is no other chance that organizations have to understand the preference of the consumers. They have to understand what the necessities of the consumers, so they can easily understand the market. So based on their market's need, they can produce their uh, products and they can provide to the consumers. And getting the correct people for the job is very very important requirement for this kind of um, for this kind of issue of when people are focusing to improve the company's performance, as because the right people only can bring the right choice for the companies, as well as they can work for the company very well. They are very passionate, they can provide their good efforts to generate a good income for the company. So it is very important to hire the perfect and the very caring employees for the company, and they should need to get training time to time, so they can keep updating their mindset, as well as they can also feel free to cope up with any kind of marketing situation uh, all over the world. Second one is the controlling, how they can controlling their systems through the business, monitoring the business activities or other things. So controlling is very important. So monitoring, in the monitoring system, we can talk about how a business management system can be monitored overall, as because it is important to maintain the management, so the management can maintain the employees properly, so whole working process get very well and very sufficient and efficient for the production, and the whole working process will be more faster, better, and smoother, so the distributors also get their products by time and the customers as well. Then the controlling one, another one we can say, strategic goals. They have to set up any strategic goals, then how much product they have to produce, what kind of services they can provide, and and in what context and what intent they will provide to the consumers when they are providing these kind of products or services. For example, any uh, financial banking or any hospitals or life insurance company, they are actually having a strategic goal that we are having this kind of strategic plan, so we can provide to the consumers, so through them we will earn this kind of strategic profit for the company. So they have to plan for the upcoming days for that, as well as they have to be more innovative and creative with the consumers, as the consumers demands can be changed by time to time. So it is very important to control the emotions of the employees, as well as setting up a strategic goal, so in order to cope up with any kind of um, unwanted situation. The last one is a decision making. Decision making is important as because the companies have to take many decisions, whether it goes on favor or not, no matter, but has to be taken decision based on the situation. So when they are having a decision, they have to examining their incoming statement, where their company actually going, they can understand through their income statement, as well as they have to look forward to their changes in the business, as many business got changed through the past years. For example, grab car used to be only a providing a grab, car service provider. Now they are actually having multiple businesses through their um, decision making policy, as has to be it used to be one of the largest, car service car the obviously it was one time the car providing, the car service providing before. Now it is also providing the food delivery, as well as shopping and other etc things. So through the grab grab application. It is a mobile based application. People are having many kind of um, having up they are having many opportunities, as well as they are having many services through this application. So it's all because of their decision. When they taken the decision, after evaluating their whole thing, they actually reached at their maximum level. And the working capital is always important before going through any kind of big decision, because if there is no capital, there cannot be any successive movement for the company. So the any for any organization, it is very important to evaluating the fundamental financial health, how the company is actually growing and how it can go further, as well as they have to look forward whether the company is going in the cash flow, I mean the cash flow is in the positive or negative. So they can understand, and based on their result on the capital, they can easily counter their lackings, their strengths, and they can find out the proper solution after evaluating their working capital. So the strong working capital is very very important for any organization to improve their performance, as well as boosting their company and bringing innovative changes and boosting the business around the globe. Okay, the last question is budget controlling through the computational techniques. The first one is chosen is called capital budgeting. So, capital budgeting is very essential to a company's fundamental financial health and operational success as a business, because it shows the capital ratio, which uh, which can divide the current assets by current liabilities, and it also indicates whether a company has an adequate cash flow to the cover short term debts or expenses or not. So it's very important as to view the fixed assets investment, because the investment that are having in a positive side or negative, we can easily understand it is in a positive way or in a negative way. So the second one is like the judgmental become very easy when we are actually evaluating the capital budget. We can make easy judgment based on the um, capital procedure capital I mean like the capital budgeting system and the investment system. So you can easily evaluating the whole system through the capital budget. Second one is the CBP analysis, which is called the cost volume profit analysis. CBP analysis is it's an analysis which is I mean like managerial economics, which is a form of the cost accounting. It also identify the overall statement, the how the company is actually doing for the last time of periods. It gives a strong insight into the profitability, obviously, because the cost volume profit always helps to identify the how the company is actually doing. It is a profitable business or unprofitable business. So through this one we can easily understand, because in the CBP analysis it gives the company very strong and matured insight of the productions as well as their services. So in the CBP analysis, when the result come in our favor, so we can easily understand that how the company is going and how it will be going on in the future or in the critical situation. So it also helps to become more alert and more conscious and very concerned on the future any kind of controversy, such as like now we are having on COVID-19 pandemic. So any kind of situation when we are facing, or any positive side or any negative side when a company is facing, the CBP analysis is very helpful to understand the company's current situation, the financial situation in their financial department management. So these were all for this assignment. These are the references which I have taken from the journals and articles to write my assignment. Here I will post this video right after finishing this video. I will post my link here later, and this is my marking criteria scheme for this presentation. So that's all from me. Thank you.